so maybe.
Welcome everybody. Happy Sunday evening. This is Dash from a cell. But I've always wanted to say that because like a radio show, it's like, hey, Dash from a phone is calling in and he wants to talk about how much Juve blow, and I am here to do that, only for a little bit, not too much. But yes, I am remote, folks. I am not at my desk, but I am making an effort to be here just because it's who I am, and I love to annoy the living hell out of you guys for the next hour or so. And here, because misery loves company, I have two sick son of a biatches. We got the Great North sickness over there in Maple Dave, and then we got the, and I quote, my throat is swollen, pause, German Dave. How goes it?
Yeah, throat is swollen.
Yeah, so the crew here isn't feeling too well.
Yeah,
Not just because of the Juve result or how we got the result, more so, but just because we're all
mostly.
physically sick. So
You guys are.
we're gonna need some help today. It is the call-in show, so we're just gonna open up the lines right away and get everyone in. Because man, otherwise, what are we gonna do? We're battered.
Nothing.
honestly, if you weren't sick, I would have asked you because you're an eyewitness to the crash that happened yesterday. So, how was it? How bad was the game?
Terrible. I mean, what is there? This is like, for example, honestly, this is to the point where it feels like I'm just watching Parma versus Juventus on repeat. That's kind of how I felt. Because, like, for example, this Bologna side came into the Allianz, pressed like crazy. Juve didn't know what to do with the press. And again, Thiago Motta, plan 1A, but when plan 1A doesn't work, he can't pivot. And unfortunately for him, he pivoted himself. The only pivot that he did was he pivoted himself to the showers, honestly. And that's honestly the highlight of the match. But like again, it's a good thing that they came back. But the issue is why is it to the point where this team is no longer being proactive, but we're stuck being reactive? Granted, I mean, one of those goals was an absolutely filthy touch. I don't get why people are cooking Gatti on it. Like the fact that the guy was able to backheel it through Gatti's legs and do an assist.
I still put that on Gatti. But let me go into that a bit later.
Is your throat? I was gonna say, oh hey, I thought your throat was swollen. I guess still got the passion for that one.
Oh yeah, dude. If you are a center back and you have a guy in front of you, why the hell, when you are trying to maintain the defensive line, do you press into the opponent with the danger being of him because it was empty behind him, like the gates literally opened. Like in that case, you better just hold the line and try to block the shot instead of pressing and being in danger of having nobody in front of you to save that, to save that situation.
We call it the peg play. It's one of it's one of the zesty techniques. Just going for a quick peg play.
When it works out, we celebrate it. So it didn't work out today.
Look, from a schematical, it makes no sense because he was late getting to the defender. His feet aren't set. So if you're coming into someone without set feet, if you're an experienced offensive player, you're licking your chops. Like that's
Yeah,
nothing but an easy
that's what I'm saying. Like, how dumb was that? Like at that point, like keep the defensive line stable.
He's been allowed to do that
No,
because he's had Bremer. Now he has to like relearn how to just be a defender. We haven't even mentioned Jeff. Jeff just rolled in the background, quiet.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah,
I was gonna
ninja.
Yeah, I was gonna add in about the Gotti thing. Was I think he just lacks awareness. That's that's one of the factors that got him to score the second goal with Bologna. Just the lack of awareness is gonna do that to you. When he had Bremer, he kind of had Bremer be the true center back, and then Gotti would kind of collect the scraps. He would do his thing. But now that there's no Bremer, now he has to be a little bit more intelligent with some of the ways that he's going to collect the ball. So that's another factor to put in. It was a nice play. Still to the end, that was still a very nice play and a nice goal.
No, it was a nice play, but there was no need at all to close up to the defender in that instance.
Yeah, sometimes when you're a defender, you gotta know when to anticipate, when to strike,
Yes.
and when to go for the ball. That's just gonna happen with experience. Regardless, I still think Gatti has done a great job this season. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, I'm not questioning like what he has done in past games. For me, it was this one.
Yeah, I think in these past two games, he hasn't been as consistent. I've seen him make a couple boneheaded mistakes. I think it was even with the one against Lecce too. I saw him make a couple mistakes, and why Malta took him out. That was another one of those things. He's going to have to improve as it goes.
Look. I'm gonna. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Look, I'm going to start saying this, and at this point, look, maybe it's a little bit premature, but holy hell, does Mukta suck at starting lineups?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at this, it's just like and substitutions, and I didn't finish it. I was gonna let it marinate for a minute, but holy hell, like part of me is just like, dude, this might be too big for him at this point because it's just like you're up against a high press team. You start a midfield with smaller guys. You didn't put in Thuram. And it's like you look at it and your midfield was non-existent. Or it's like when you put in Thuram, you started stringing something together. Bologna had some issues with it. Or it's just like, again, for me, it's like, and even then, like the substitution was late. For me, it's just like part of me is starting to think that, like, with all due respect, like, I understand he needs time, right? Like, I can't just sit here and like buy a billboard in Times Square saying that we need this guy out. But how many times are we going to sit here and have this discussion about what the hell is this starting lineup and what the hell is taking so long for substitutions?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
No, it is the same sort of conversation week in and week out now, right? It's when I guess the concern is we realize it as just some assholes on the internet commenting on it. At what point is the coaching staff actually going to act on it? And they kind of did late in the game. They finally put Yildiz as 10, swap things out. But I mean, we've been yelling about it for a couple weeks now, right? He just seems way too slow to react and just so stuck in his ways. And until he actually comes out and just sticks to something, we're gonna be here every week yelling about this exact same thing. Broken record.
Gosh, it sounds like somebody with lesser head of hair.
No, but Dash, let me ask you, like, from a tactical point of view, when we sub in all our offensive players, meaning Bangula, and that's it basically. When we put him on the field, like, did you see any offensive philosophy, or was it just dumping balls forward? And
it's just dumping balls.
There's no scheme.
There's no scheme. Go ahead. Sorry.
because
I'm sorry.
because I think I'm noticing the same, but I'm not 100% sure technically. But honestly, it looks to me like we're trying to do that with Conceição, like for 2 months now, like dumping balls up the field to him and trying to see him cook, which is honestly, sorry to say it, but a similar
Not sustainable.
situation as we had with Chiesa on the left side. We were dumping the ball forward, and and then he was trying to get through three people. Maybe Conceição, you can argue, is a better dribbler, but it's a similar situation of not being creative and just trying your players to win 1v1 duels. And yeah, it's a 50-50 situation most of the
Well,
time
and
if you
so
get through or not.
if you look at the 2 assists from the players in yesterday's match, and like again, they put a ball in a position for someone to find it. But like for example, you look at the Dusan assist, and this is I'm not railing on him. I want to put the context there. Like the idea or the logic behind the pass is fuck it, someone's there, let me just put it there. It isn't like a hey, we ping this way, go this way, adjust this way, and then move the ball here. It's just he's out on the wing. He says, okay, I've got nothing. Fuck it. Let me play it out wide and play it in the middle and see if someone comes into it and gets it. And again, Mbangula goes all the way from his left side of the field, goes in and takes the hit and goes for it. Same thing with the Coop goal. Like the Coop goal, again, is everyone's bunched forward. Let's throw a ball in there. Fuck it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, no. Where it's just like, I don't see a scheme. Like for me, this is like, again, there's no schematics. This is even a more of a pragmatic approach than what Max did, or like a more kind of clueless approach than what Max was doing last season. Because last season was, okay, let's go through Cambiasso. Cambiasso will try to link something to Chiesa, or Kostic will try to link something to Chiesa, and we go from there. Where it's like here, it's like we get possession, and then it's like for some reason we need to build out of the back, and then it's not going anywhere because nobody knows where to go. Like, for example, right now, if you watch Napoli play, they have a clear identity of how they try to break a team down. Center back goes into Lukaku. Lukaku receives the ball, and then Lukaku plays it to the open runner. Does it work 100% of the time? Absolutely not. It's never going to work 100% of the time. But at least you understand what the MO or how they operate or what they do. Where it's like for us, I'm still trying to figure out, like the first couple of weeks, sure, you could see the plays and the fanciness and all that stuff. But now it's just like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the hell am I watching here schematically? Because it makes no sense. Where it's like, for example, for Coop, and like a lot of people are saying Coop is ass and we wasted money and yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing that people don't understand about Coop and Atalanta. Gasparini gives you directions to a T. If the ball is here, your winger needs to be there, your other player needs to be there, and you fill the space, he tells Coop. Where, like, for example, Coop is going from something that's exceptionally structured. Say what you want, people, about Atalanta, but Atalanta, yes, they die by the high press, live and die by the high press, but that Atalanta, the way that Gasparini has those players positioned and organized is ridiculously structured. Where it's like here with Coop, it's just like, okay, he gets the ball and he turns around, and then there's Dusan right next to him or on the opposite side of the field, and then you have Conceição, that's the only available option that's open. And then I don't even know what Timmy Weah was doing on the left. So it's just like you put yourself in that perspective where, yes, like, for example, at Juventus, Koopmeier has better players than what he did at Atalanta. But the difference is the players at Atalanta knew and Coop could essentially play off of each other and each other's strengths. Where right now, like chemistry-wise or player chemistry-wise, it seems like it's just an absolute shit show from it because I don't see any chemical reactions. I don't see any proper synchronizations. I don't see anything. It's almost like these guys just come in, clock in the morning, and clock out. There's no organization between each other. There's no I go here, you go there. Like it's and at this point, and I find it ironic, right? Because like I posted it on Discord. If you haven't been on Discord, take a look. But I posted that one X tweet where someone said, this is well beyond Mata. Now we need to evaluate the players and say it's because of the players and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. When we made that argument last year, we were called Allegri stands. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, now this is a thing. Now we can sit here and question it when we've had the. And here's the funny thing about this. This is where I find it very ironic. Last year, it wasn't the scheme. This year, it is the scheme, and because it's the scheme, now it's the opposite thing. Because the problem is when you play in a possession-based style, an offensive possession-based style, you need more instructions to understand what you need to do. Ball's on far side, adjust here. We need to go here, cover this space and do this. Whereas, like, for example, a max counterattack or terror ball, it's more so hold this line, and the second the ball comes through, whoever's free gets the ball. Where it's with this, you need a lot more instructions, a lot more organization. And the problem is I think Mota doesn't know how to schematically adjust. Because that's what I've been seeing as of recent is let's just try to hold the back line, let's try to cover the defense, and let's not try to risk anything or expose anything. Problem is sure, you can sit down and grind through results, but offensively, if you're in the game at, like, for example, the only time we ever see this team get a little bit offensively creative is when we're down. But if it's, again, we're running a 0-0 into the second half, we might scrape one by, and that's pretty much it. Where I don't see an organization of play. I don't even understand who the starting three midfielders are because he changes them. And I don't understand, like, for example, okay, if you save Thuram or certain players for Man City, like, fantastic. That game means nothing. Like, I'm sorry. That game against Manchester City this week means absolutely nothing.
At this point, it's starting to look that way.
I think to add more into this, I was saying it, I think in the watch along in the second half, where I was saying that we should focus more on reaching the top four and not as much into the Champions League, and just put in the players that we need to play in the league instead of constantly worrying about whether we're going to make it to the quarterfinals or not. Because clearly, we don't have it's not in our benefit. We don't have enough players. We don't have the depth. So we just have to put in our eggs in the league, like eggs in the league's basket, and just play our guts out until something happens, until players start coming in from injury, like, injury reserve. Like, you have nothing you can do. Like, you're stuck. Like, you got to make a decision. And I feel like Malta is very indecisive as a coach.
Extremely. He seems extremely indecisive by decision making. Even, like, for example, the interviews or the post pressers that he does, extremely indecisive off the tonality. But here's the thing, because, like, for example, folks are saying that, like, oh, Gentoli's a flop and yada yada. No.
Gentoli's great.
The only things that, like, for example, there are a couple of things, right? Like moving a certain center back or moving a forward and stuff like that. Yeah, you can hold them. But Koopmeiners acquired. Douglas Luiz, after the season of his career, acquired. Nico Gonzalez, hot season, acquired. He brought in players. He brought in the only time you could sit here and bash a sporting director is if he's not able to get deals done or work things through. Like, for example, sure, you can hang Calafiori, but I don't see him as much of a loss right now currently.
We had no chance on him. I don't get why people are still talking about that.
It's stupid.
You can't blame that on Juve. You got to blame that on Bologna.
No.
Because
you blame it on Bologna and you blame it on Calafiori. If Calafiori really wanted to go to Juve, he'd hold out. That's honestly what it is. Players held out.
Yeah.
No, so, like,
for me, Gentoli did great. Gentoli did great. A lot of the signings we had hit. Cool. Koopmeiners, I think it's a hit, despite of what people are saying. Conceição, a hit. Kalulu, that is doing fine. Thuram, for what I think Thuram is for, a replacement to Rabiot, much better. And obviously, and there's players also that got better under Mota, like Locatelli. But obviously, I can't expect us to be what we were from, like, 2018, 2017. This is going to take time. It is what, like I said, it is what it is. I told people, brace yourselves, because this is just an adjustment year. Like, we have to get adjusted. This is what it is.
Hey, but we had people that told us live on stream that we're cowards because we weren't expecting to go to the semifinals of the Champions League. I'm wondering if those guys are still here. I wonder if those guys are still around, or they go back in their rocks.
The problem is like I already saw a few like weaknesses with this squad. The lack of depth is a problem. I knew that right off the bat people were saying we didn't need Jadon Sancho. I was like, no, we need
You are
any.
right.
You do.
You are right.
Insane.
100%.
You can't say that, or we didn't need another center back. The more, the merrier. We need as many players as possible. We're at a financial disadvantage, and then you're up against like the EPL teams that have they can buy. That can literally buy has a credit card there, and they just buy whatever they want, like an impulsive 5-year-old. So it is
Yeah,
what
well, I mean, depth-wise, right? Like for example, for Serie A, in theory, we would have been fine for the league. The issue is again, and that was where my expectations was get to top four. But the issue is right now, I think there's a couple of teams that are punching above their weight more than what other people expected. So it's kind of staining what we're doing right now, to be honest with you, because I could sit here and just bash the team and bash Monta and blah 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 blah. I don't think it's gonna be productive. Like for example, Lazio is punching above their weight. Fiorentina is punching above their weight. So those two by themselves punching above their weight is essentially throwing this table into a frenzy.
To be honest with you, just wait a little bit. They're gonna fall down too. Like it's just this momentum is not gonna constantly be there forever. They are going to fall.
My concern is though, what happens when we fall off? Right?
What happens when we win?
No, my argument is we already fell off, and it can only get better.
I think
that's my argument.
My take is that I think we're very, very close to really falling off. We're like in our tippy toes.
We're teetering.
We're literally, it's like tippy toes. Because honestly, as much as we shit on Malta for what we shit on, like there are things we criticize Malta for. The situation that he's in, I don't think is as bad as people make it out to be. Because like Max Allegri in the 2022 and the 2023 season was bad. He was losing.
Oh, Max was It
was insane that year. If you remember, this is kind of a similar situation. If you think about it, a lot of the players were just injured. This is what I feel like it's going on. Is like this majority of the players are pretty much injured, and we're trying to make way with what we have. And this is what the issue is. And I think he's done a decent job. Like I'm not saying he's good, but could be better.
No, yeah, it's not bad. It's not catastrophic, right? Like, and that's not the idea that we're trying to paint, right? We're not trying to paint that it's catastrophically bad. But the issue is like, for example, if you look at that season, right? If you look at the arrivals that Max had, he had an aging Di Maria, a Pogba, and then Kostic, right? Those, and then Milik, I believe.
Okay.
So those were the arrivals versus what you have right now is you have the best midfielder in Serie A, one of the best defensive or holding midfielders in the Premier League, a high upside potential winger, and then you have also an experienced center back, fullback hybrid in Kalulu as additions to what you have. Where back then there was no Chiesa because Chiesa had an ACL tear, so we didn't know when he was going to come back. Again, Di Maria was potentially like, hey, he might have one last umph in him. And then Paul, who was coming back from a really bad ankle foot injury from that season at United when he became a free agent. And then Kostic, who was the only player that was excelling in his, I think that was the season Kostic. Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. So Kostic coming in after winning the Europa League. And then you look at those additions and you compare them to the additions that we have this summer. This summer's additions by far were better. The player capability, the player personnel and skill, right now on paper, the players that we have on the roster are better than what we've had in the last 4 years.
I agree.
Post Ronaldo era. So the issue, and this is what comes with the territory of being at a big club, is you have to find a way to make it work. Like, for example, Arteta, and I don't like people using Arteta as a comp for Mota because Arsenal have the financial security and stability to accept not finishing in the top four. Arsenal, like, for example, when they were starting the project, they were bad, like really, really bad.
Yeah, but that's now how long? Like 6 or 7 years ago.
6 to 7 years, correct.
And now, and they still haven't won anything like since that time. And now you can argue they have the best squad in the Premier League. Like their team is better than Liverpool. If you go names by names, maybe if you take out Mohamed Salah, like their team is better than Liverpool's. Their team right now is better than Manchester City. Then they're just like crawling around in not crawling around, but they're in third place. Like Chelsea is in front of them, and Liverpool is, I believe, 6 or 7 points or
Yeah.
something ahead, and they have a game in hand. Like
If they
for
don't,
these last 2 seasons should have been Arsenal's, and if they don't win anything, like that should be honestly Arteta gone, in my opinion.
too much time.
Too much
But like
time,
for example,
too much time to fail. They invested 120 million on Declan Rice, for example. They just spent 50 million on Calafiori. Sorry, but the center back that they maybe didn't even actually need. And they haven't gotten a proper striker because Kai Havertz is more so 10. But yeah, is that bad scouting? Like Arsenal did miss like big mistakes as well. So
no, again, and that's where I'm saying the difference between us and them is like, yeah, Arsenal can afford that. We can't.
yeah,
And
Like
I
for
think,
example,
yeah,
go ahead, Jeff.
And I was
Go ahead,
just
buddy.
going to add up to the whole EPL thing. I feel like they can afford, they are privileged with money, so they can afford to fuck up, whereas Italy can't. But that could also be to our advantage, meaning where we have to be much more intelligent in our decision making of who we bring in and who we bring out. So that's the only advantage that I feel like Italian clubs have, whereas English clubs just buy, see if it doesn't work out, we'll just buy more. Now, I can only imagine if we just had half of the funding that the EPL had. Just half.
No, we'd be competitive. We'd be virtually competitive if that
We
was the
would,
thing.
we would probably we would be in the 90s again, maybe. If not 90s close enough.
Because the concern or the focus or the objective right now is to establish something that you can comfortably lock the top four into. That's the objective that will be the objective for this season, unless a stroke or an act of God happens where they pop off 10 or 12 wins in a row, which I highly doubt that's possible. But right now, that's where, like for example, for me, it's just I need to see some consistent top four footy from Mota. Because, like for example, you look at it, right? We played Lecce, we didn't do well, 1-1, and then you look at Roma when they just played Lecce 4-1. And it's like, seriously, a Roma that's like in the relegation zone in theory, that Roma was able to go in and drop 4 on them.
That's maybe like the resurgence of Ranieri for a couple matches though as well. Let's not get carried away.
I get that, but it's Claudio Ranieri though.
You
know what he was doing? He was sipping Mai Tais on his yacht, and then he was just like, "Fuck it, let me go to Roma real quick."
yeah. So the guys refreshed and
we need to maintain a kind of energy and intensity and confidence, particularly confidence, when we step on that pitch as if we're losing. Because I see a lot of potential with this squad, but they only play well when they're behind, when they fuck up. It's like they're dicking around when it's 0-0. They're playing it safe, and then the moment they screw up, they're like, "Oh my god, I gotta work twice as hard." And it's like they did that with Bologna, and they did that with Inter. So it's like, and
Parma
Leipzig as well, even though we won. But like that's not a way to win. We need to dominate and control the win, control the score. This has got to stop. And I think also, to be honest, I know we're not gonna shit on Duchamp, but like for anybody that's complaining about Koopmeiners last game, the real problem was Duchamp and not Koopmeiners. Koopmeiners gave 2 good assists, 2 opportunities to Duchamp for him to finish. So no, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I you know me, no comment. I'm not talking about him anymore.
Not talking about Sean tonight.
No, it is. Nope. It's got to be told because like people have to recognize is like the guy. Yeah, there are times where he cooks, but then there's times where he does this type of shit. And then on top of that, he's not producing and wants to continue to have 12 million a season. You're delusional. You're asking to be sold. You might as well just say, "Hey, I don't want to be here," and that's totally fine.
So we had that. I don't know if it's conversation. The situation, as you had mentioned, there doesn't even want to be here. I don't know. Douglas Luiz apparently wants to be. What is it with these? This is where I'm getting hung up. It's like, do any of the guys want to be here? You know who does? Locatelli, Yildiz, probably Di Gregorio, the Italians. I say all the Italians. But yeah, you have these superstar, rock star dudes coming from wherever. Do they want to be here? Douglas Luiz.
Why
Who
not?
else?
Like we don't know anything. It's one report that said that. Like we
No,
don't
of
know
course,
that.
just one report. But
Yeah,
you look
but
at their.
before marking them as not wanting to be here, like I'm not that quick to cast judgment on that.
No, we're not
No, I
casting
don't
judgment.
know.
We're asking questions,
But
right?
people
Because you
do.
see their
We
performance.
are not, but people out there do. That's my problem.
But we're just looking at the performance. That like you can tell who goes onto the pitch and gives a damn, right? Like Chico. Chico always gives a damn. Other guys, they throw in a half-assed effort and then throw their hands up in the air. The last guy we had that said he wanted to be part of this club, we shipped off, and now he's celebrating under
He's
21
playing
goals.
for the under
I was gonna
20.
say he's killing it. He's killing it for the under 21s.
So you see what I'm saying? Like it's a valid question to ask because we're not. This is not unknown to us. It's happening all the time. So we have to ask these questions and make sure that, like, okay, maybe you don't actually want to be here. Maybe Dougie, you only came here because of the IG and Alicia or what? I don't know. I'm making shit up, right? Of course.
Oh, even Danilo as well. They were countrymen as well. Obviously, Juventus is still a great. It's a big club. You had Malta. Maybe he could communicate with them in Portuguese. There was probably a project that they were probably liking. Douglas Luiz, again, I'm just going to have to give him probably a couple more months until things get underway. I don't know what the heck is going on with him. Like, I don't
The
know.
Brazilian midfielder curse. It's every Brazilian midfielder comes to Juve, gets hurt, and they never play again.
Yeah, that's probably the case. Maybe I jinxed it, but I don't know. I was never like, I wasn't like wowed by it, by the Douglas Luiz thing. You played good. You played good for Aston Villa. It was like the same thing with Diego, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I still hope he comes back from this and just pops off. Maybe we need a formation change, and that's another thing I was thinking of.
But he will not do that. That's the problem.
And
So
that's the
we
thing.
desperately need a change.
Maybe we need a 4-3-3 with Koopmeiners playing as a number 8 alongside, I would say, a Kefren Turam, and then Douglas Luiz playing that deep line midfield.
Yeah,
that's also the case. That could also be the case that you have to look into. That's with Douglas. I don't know yet. Give it a few more months. Maybe he will get better. Maybe he's not for a double pivot. Maybe he's a 3-man midfielder. That's also another thing to consider.
I would like to see a formation change. People have been mentioning another thing that we've been kind of made fun of that, now we're talking about. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We saw it towards the end of the match. Yil is number 10. Is that the thing? Does he get the starting spot now with all these injuries? Does he go to the left?
You gotta try something. I think you need to try something at this point.
All right, here's my thing. My thing is this: have what's it called? Have Kefren, maybe a Fagioli or a Locatelli. I don't really care, depending on the other team. Have Koopmeiners up top. Have Yildiz as a false 9. Utilize Mbangula on the left side of the field. Conceição on the right. And then, when Mbangula is not doing as good, put in Timmy Weah. And that was another thing with Timmy Weah was not good yesterday. Like, I like him as a player, but there are just some qualities. I just wish he's more confident on taking players one-on-one. Because if he could do that, he will be unimaginably dangerous.
Yeah. Let me entertain you with this.
Yeah.
Let me entertain you guys with this. From a midfield perspective, Yildiz at the 10. Then I would put Coop as the 8. Turam as the 6.
No, not bad.
That would work.
I would try it just to see what would happen. Honestly, like, for example, if you're playing a lower relegation zone team, fuck it. Try it. Give it a second, see how it works. Because Right now, you need something to give you some portability or something to concern teams with how you go in the middle because it's easy to cover right now. It's easy double mark Conceição, double mark the wings because they're not doing anything in the middle. I'm thinking if you are able to run a Yildiz, Koopmeyers, and Thuram trio in the middle, I think Dusan pops off. By far, I think Dusan pops off.
Whatever will make Dusan pop, I'm here for it.
Multiple
I don't care what it
strokes.
is. Don't care what it
Yeah.
is. This guy needs to pop.
Yeah, no.
That's the only way I could see it. Like for example, with the current skill positions that we have, that's going to be the only way that you're going to be able to break something down like that. Because if you're having players that don't have skill movements or skill positions, you're essentially isolating yourself from your potential on the field.
Well, let's do it. Will he? That's the big question. Will he actually just do it?
Honestly, even the last game, that was like probably the best. That was probably the best substitutions he did, and I wish he had done them earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Like it makes that's why I was sitting there and I was thinking about it. I'm like, because my concern is I think we're playing Koopmeyers in a bad position. I think Koopmeyers needs to maybe be a little bit more deeper and facilitate the ball in through the middle. And then you're going to need that number 10 that's holding up the top of the pitch for him to play it on the edge like that. Because right now you're essentially having Koopmeyers drop down deep, carry the ball, move the ball, and then you're expecting him to also do the 10 roll at the same time. He's playing an 8 and a 10 instead of an 8/10 hybrid. Where, like, for example, I think if you're able to isolate it to Yildiz as the 10, and then you're able to move Koopmeyers as an 8, and then Thuram as the defensive cover, I think that'll get you some chances where you're able to make some movements or some actions happen. And then that should tactically free up your wingers, so your wingers are able to cut in and score on the opposite sides and invert. And then also because of the amount of ball movement that's going to happen, is then that potentially opens up the door for Dusan to get a couple of tap-ins. So from a schematical standpoint, I think it would make sense. Whether or not it gets executed in match, that's going to be a different story.
Yeah, in theory, it wouldn't sound like a bad idea too. I kind of wanted. I would have again. I probably either or works for me. I just wanted to see Dusan get some competition as far as that number 9 role. That's why I wanted Yildiz as a false 9 because I feel like because he doesn't have much competition, nobody's going to take his position. I don't think
you're right. You're right, but unfortunately, just the way that everything is set up right now, we have to pivot. Because, for example, at this point, there is no competition. There's not going to be anyone that's going to be able to adjust the role. You're just going to have to make do with what you have. And that's where I think, again, he needs to be able to adjust and do it from a schematical standpoint where you need to see that adjustment or that movement, but we're just not seeing it. And that's kind of opening up a Pandora's box of issues.
So moving into Wednesday then, what are we looking at? Is this something that we do against Man City?
No, the game's a throwaway game. It's a throwaway game.
So you might as well test it then if it's throwaway.
It is, yeah. It's a throwaway game. There's for example, the expectations, I don't have any. But I mean, if they're in bad form, we're in form. It's at this point, fuck it. The only issue is don't give them any motivation or any momentum because they'll win the Premier League again.
Oh jeez. Could they still do that?
Yeah.
No.
I think
they don't have the consistency in them to win 10 games or whatever in a row.
The thing is, Pep is burned out. Pep is burned out too. So take advantage of this. Maybe get a tie. That would be
Pep is waiting for that 60 million a year salary from Al Hilal. That's what he's waiting for.
At this point, he's a rich man. He's a made man, anyways. As far as the Juve City game, 2 approaches I see. Either there's going to be a possession battle, or it's going to be City holding possession, and we're just going to have to do the counterattack soccer punch to the back.
Oh, I would love to see a 5-3-2 counterattack, just so.
My problem. I think this will be once again to. Just to tease Dave, another 0-0. Because Chico and whoever's playing on the left side don't have the physicality to take those. They are still playing center backs as fullbacks, No, and especially now where they want to stabilize the defense, where now that they are conceding goals galore. I don't think that we have the 1v1 strength to score from the
No,
wing, and if we don't have anything like going centrally, we don't have a chance of scoring. That's
no, I don't
that's
think so either.
Well,
I
guys,
think we could
that's
play.
that's my problem.
I think we could probably play more of a defensive minded game and have Taramboli Gundogan. That would be a one factor. Like he can just kind of he could probably play out physical. Like I'll play him more physically to Gundogan, and maybe he screws up. Maybe in that scenario, and then just man mark Kevin De Bruyne. It's hard because you also have Holland, and Holland usually has his shooting boots. That's the problem. Unlike our guy, he's like on and off. So yeah, I'm not.
Holland's not been the most consistent this year, so you never know.
It was weird. He dropped off once Rodri got hurt. He dropped off. He fell off
Yeah,
a cliff.
he hasn't had his delivery service.
Yeah,
So
and also the De Bruyne also missing a lot of games, and De Bruyne not being in form and having a bit of a beer belly, like as well. Like
Yeah.
they're not in proper form.
no, so
No.
it could be either way. But we did
So
just get a handout.
if we have a decent physical midfield, I don't think that we will concede a goal, but yeah.
We don't have to
That's
worry
good.
about, at least in the league, Fiorentina anymore. IFTV have just glazed Fiorentina live on X.
All right, they're cursed.
They are officially going to drop off. So thank
sorry,
you, IFTV.
Fiorentina. Sorry,
mind you,
sorry, not sorry. I don't like you, but yeah.
well, the assholes did it to us like game 2. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was going to come around. So
Hey, but the question is, like, did they break the curse now that they said like Osmota failing? Like, did they break their own curse?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, we're going to win a couple. games. You'll see.
will we perform now? All right.
Yeah, and then they'll start glazing him again. Then we'll be fucked.
Yeah, no, it was the thing with the Holland. Actually, even on his weakest day, he's still like competing with Mo Salah, which
Yeah.
is still insane.
Yeah. And he still scored against Crystal Palace. Like they tied
Exactly.
it 2-2 against Crystal Palace, and he still scored, and it was a beauty of a goal where he controlled the ball, and while falling, put it into the net. He's still good.
He's got his shooting boots. I'm not saying he's going to be consistent as last year, but I do think he can still be a threat.
I think, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you have the stats in front of you. I think as a goal, he still has scored the most goals. It's just Mo Salah who has
with Mo Salah, 13 apiece.
outside now. Okay, because
Obviously,
Salah has
has a better
more assists.
Yeah, but Salah has a better year overall because of the assists as well. He's got 13 goals and 8 assists for Salah, and 13 goals for Holland. I don't know, probably like under 3 assists. I have no idea. Yeah, and that's the thing. You're dealing with that. How will Conceição going up against Kyle Walker, or is it going to be Yildiz?
No, it would have to be. No, Kyle Walker's on the right.
It will be Yildiz. Conceição will be up against either Gvardiol or Nathan. Or are they playing Nathan Ake or Akanji sometimes on the left side?
I would love to have
Akanji. But it will be one of those.
I would love for Akanji to go up against one of those guys. I think he's been having a bad season, so that would be like a gift. Yeah. Whereas like with Kyle Walker, either or, I think if Yildiz goes up against them or Conceição goes up against them, they're screwed. Like they're blocked. He could block Vinny, and Vinny is like unimaginably like lightning quick. So for me, it's like Kyle Walker. Yeah, you got to watch out for him. That would be
but Kyle Walker is cooked right now. Like offensively, doesn't give them anything, and sometimes he's doing now like uncharacteristic errors, like defensively. So maybe that side we can take advantage of. But yeah, we have to see, man. We have to see.
I think the problem is too, though. Even if we were to create chances, again, we're just not good in finishing as well. Like, we cannot put the ball in the back of the net. That's what's killing us at the moment too. Like, to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. Like, imagine if Conceição had hit that instead of the post, or obviously if Conceição would have scored that. I don't know. I thought that was a goal in the last week's game against Lecce. But that's me. Obviously, we can go to the semantics of goal line technology. I'm not going to argue with it, but this kind of reminded me, that particular situation reminded me of the Spain versus Japan match when Japan scored the goal against Spain, and it was like 99% out, but they're like, no, it's still in. So that was another one, yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna cut this one shorter today. We got a few more minutes left, just because we all feel like shit. That's why. It's good. It's true. That being said, we have Wednesday, we have Thursday, we come back again Saturday. It's gonna be a pretty busy week. So I think it's worth a few minutes anyways to celebrate the close attempt, the valiant attempt of Ferrari today.
Damn, they were so close, but yet so far. Like, something had to happen to Norris, like for them to take it. But honestly, the effort from Leclerc to go from P19, like that was great. Like, it was a really good race.
19th place to third, Sainz in second, a Ferrari 2-3-4 because for Hamilton passes Russell the last lap to basically fuck off George Russell and saying good job guys, I'm going to Ferrari. So it was a Ferrari 2-3-4 today. That's the way I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah, who won?
Lando Norris ended up winning, which of course was too much for both the second place in the standings and for the first place in the constructors. But man, was it like 13 points split in the two teams after 24 races, which is nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No,
But don't
good.
worry, Dave. Next season will be the one.
Yeah, it's gonna be tight.
This is not even jokingly, Dash, because we love, dude.
No, they'll actually be good next season. No, I know.
With how close these teams are, and you have a great driver lineup, like with Hamilton and Leclerc, and you start everything like with on zero again. And I don't think the Red Bull will be running away. Like, they don't have the resources like to pull away like in this regulation set in the last season of it. So I think honestly next season will be a crazy and close one.
Where's Bono going?
Bono's staying at Mercedes.
So you can see 666 points for McLaren, Ferrari at 652, 14 points. Like, it's so few. It's like a third place finish would delete that,
Yeah.
So it's so tight.
That's only literally like one race here or there, one sprint here and there, like that. Yeah, that's how close it was.
So heartbreaking. What's the most heartbreaking is just hearing Lando and his smug ass British accent going on about how great everything is. Disgusting.
Don't worry, Dave. I'll be wearing Ferrari colors next season. So
all right, Lewis Hamilton for the win, and Charles Leclerc, of course. I think it was at least worth mentioning it for a few minutes there, since the season is now over.
Yeah.
I only have one thing to look forward to now.
So, dude, for Formula One, like, burnt me down, man. That was a long season, man.
It was a long season, but it was good. It was good, exciting, and from a neutral's perspective as well. The fights, three-way fights, up and down, even a four-way fight, if you will. Mercedes, even showing up, not quite giving enough, but making it interesting in any case, right to the end. So, best season in at least a few years, anyways.
Oh, so since best season since 2021, unfortunately.
Yeah, 21 with that tight race, Hamilton and Verstappen. But next year's gonna be wild.
Want to add one more thing for NFL as well. Congrats to the Eagles as well for winning.
Yep, they won 22
as well. So
was it 22
Tampa won as well. think so. Yeah, against North Carolina. Surprisingly, the
Yeah,
Panthers,
but it was the Panthers as well.
the Panthers they got better. They literally almost beat Tampa last week. So we
they,
got them in overtime.
they almost like they beat almost a lot of teams. They
That's the same
almost
thing.
beat the Chiefs.
Unironically, though, do you know who's the almost team has been the Bengals? If anything, I feel bad for the
Yeah.
Bengals.
I feel bad for Joe Burrow because they don't
Yeah.
have an offensive line. They don't have a defense.
No defense.
You know who I don't feel bad for?
Josh Allen,
The
who's
Pa-
getting
I was going to say the
rammed right now.
Packers. The
Oh.
Packers, because fuck the Packers.
Yeah.
Sorry, Frankie.
Frankie
But
hasn't
Matt
been around
LaFleur's
much. I think
Matt
Frankie's
LaFleur is a bitch.
Frankie, you gotta stop working so much, man. I saw those photos at the bar, watching the game at the bar. There, you just gotta get a nice Sunday off or something. Hang with the boys.
Well, I gotta say, the Vikings pulled a huge W for Tampa for beating the Falcons. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'm gonna take that. But the problem is that Tampa's gonna have a game against the Chargers next week, and that's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
They're up against Herbert.
Dash are the Vikings 1 or 2 games behind Detroit?
They're 1.
1 game. All right.
They're 11-2. We're 12-1.
All right. But do you have the tiebreaker right now? Then I think you won the.
Yeah, we beat them. We beat them in Minnesota.
Also, it's basically 2 games, basically.
Yeah, it's 2 games pretty much. But yeah, because right now we've got the Bills, then we have. Fuck, I forgot who's it's the Bills,
You guys have
Niners.
a hard schedule.
Bills, Bears, Niners, Vikings.
You guys got a tough schedule.
I mean, I think this Lions team to me just has some weird kind of voodoo magic, man. Like the Green Bay game, they were playing with practice squad linebackers and linemen, and they still found a way to beat them.
Yeah,
honestly, like I was not expecting the 4th and inches for him to say "fuck it, go for it," and then like Jared Goff slipped and still got the handoff off. And the thing that's funny is this is how I hate Packers fans. They're like, he should have been down. He took a knee. I'm like, he tripped. I'm like, do you guys not know the NFL rules? I'm like, he tripped. That's not him taking a knee. Who the hell falls backwards and takes a knee?
Because I can't believe our only losses were against Tampa and the Falcons.
Well,
I still can't believe my only loss was against Tampa.
So does that make me default the best team in the NFL? By default.
You guys don't even
we
have a
have-
stadium.
The problem
You know,
is
here's the thing though. Like the most entertaining team to watch right now is not even a team; it's just a player, Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah.
oh god, yeah, that's Cleveland. We dusted his ass a long time ago. Okay, but
Yeah, but the horse is ready for battle, Jeff,
yeah,
and it's in the hands of the Lord.
yo, listen, I like Baker. I'm not saying he's perfect. I don't think he's perfect, but man, he's got a lot of heart. The thing is,
he's better for you than Jameis. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I will take Baker over Jameis. No,
Don't be doubting the power of the crab legs.
Dude, what was going from James to Tom Brady, maybe the greatest trade deal in history of trade deals, maybe ever?
Yeah, I was shocked that happened. I was like, oh shit. And then it went from like that to Gronk, and then from Gronk, and then we got like AB, which is like AB did one of the most entertaining retirements of all time. Like when I watched that game,
crazy.
That would be one of my favorite Tom Brady games too. Like he won in the last 30 seconds of the game while Antonio Brown's gave the middle fingers to the team. Like that was insane. I've never watched a game like that. The guy just went like deuces. I'm out of here. I don't want this shit. Like, I was just like, wow.
So we have Pittsburgh left for next week. Pittsburgh, then 3 division games: Washington, then the Cowboys, then the Giants.
You guys
Yeah,
have
that one seed is going to be a hell of a race.
Yeah, I think our schedule is a bit more easy, but we're scraping bye games so somehow, even though our running game is this dominant. But the Lions are blowing teams like off the field, man.
LJJ is saying I don't watch much football because the team I support sucks. Which version of football are you talking about?
No, American football, clearly.
Oh man, sorry. It's tough. I'm hoping for something on Wednesday. Damn it. There's got to be something.
Beat the living snot out of Dushan, and maybe he can. His attitude could change. I don't know.
Oh.
Kids like Colin and Doosan just get in the fight, beat the shit out of each other.
Just
Full
like
hockey rules.
you just like
It,
seriously.
it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is.
Just like Lando dive bombed Oscar today. That's what I want. Just the two of them just take each other out. I don't want to see either one.
Yeah, you mean
Oh,
Max.
you mean how Max dive bombed Oscar?
What did I say? That's what I meant. What did I
You
say?
said Lando.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
that would have
Lando's a
been
British man.
Lando dive bad. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Honestly, that's what I wanted in my head. That
Did Max try to sabotage McLaren, or was it a genuine mistake?
Yes.
That was bad.
I don't even care. Whatever it is.
LJJ is a Giants fan. Oh man, I feel bad for you.
Poor guy.
You know what was funny today too is Max,
Shouldn't have given us Saquon Barkley for nothing.
so
I mean,
Max-
I can't. You can't. No. You can't blame them. You can't. You honestly can't blame the Giants.
They
for that
didn't
because, like,
extend.
no, they said, hey, this is the amount we'll pay you. If you think you can get more, go ahead and get more. Like, that's honestly, like, can you, like, hey, 10, 11 million a season, and then he's just kind of like, okay, until he's like, bet, we'll give you 12. Right? Like, can you get mad at the Giants for that?
Congratulations on that deal, I guess.
No, I know, but
speaking of New York teams losing, they did lose to the LA Galaxy for the MLS Cup. So once again, an LA team is overstacked. If Messi wasn't going to win, they have to give it to LA. It's just the way it is. So the MLS season is now over. If anybody was following, no, okay. So till next season, the Messi League. And Messi got the Player of the Year too, of course.
Jets lost too. The Jets lost too.
Jets lost to the Dolphins?
Yeah, overtime. Yeah,
Huh.
Jets are officially off. Yep. Yeah, I never liked Rodgers after he left the Green Bay Packers.
Oh,
I never liked him, but he was good. I'm not gonna deny that either.
hey, Buffalo's catching up to the Rams. Slowly, but scored the TD. It's 31-21 for the Rams.
Well, we can see where this Sunday night's heading. Everyone just
I'm
wants
watching
to watch the football game.
I'm watching football until I go to sleep. Let's see if I go to work tomorrow, man. I'm feeling sick as hell.
Oh yeah. See, I took Friday off. I don't know if I can take a Monday off now. We'll see.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one of those show up for a couple hours and say see you later. I don't want to get you guys sick.
There you go.
I felt good. I felt good when I woke up, but I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. It's getting close to the holidays. You can tell people are looking for their excuses.
No, you're right. I got you. I got you. Don't worry.
All right, let's do it. Let's roll it out.
It's actually funny. I can mess up the soundboard on my phone. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning into this Sunday evening. I lost, just lost my train of thought just because, just like eBay's offense. But anyways, everyone, we will catch you for the Man City game. We will see you with German Dave and Canadian Dave for Man City versus Juventus this Wednesday, and we'll break it down Thursday, and then we'll repeat the shitstorm for the next weekend. But on that note, Mr. Yeffy, thanks for coming, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Take care, guys.